If you hear these words, know this. It is no accident. It is resonance. Your soul has, as it were, awakened, hearing this call. We live in a wondrous era when the finest veil of illusion has become more transparent than ever before, and through it, bright lights of truth now glimmer, beckoning those who are ready to open their eyes and see. Before we step together into the Holy of Holies, into the very heart of mystery, you must make your choice. Give a like. This is not merely approval, it is your sincere declaration of intent. Subscribe, and you will join the ranks of seekers, those who strive for truth. In the deepest bowels of occult science, amidst ancient, dusty scrolls and long-forgotten texts, lies knowledge that can overturn our entire world. We speak of The Secret Doctrine by Helena Blavatsky, a document that dared to touch the very foundations of our being. But, like many great teachings before it, it was distorted, misinterpreted, and, in essence, buried under a heap of myths and half-truths. But what if I told you that the entire essence of this monumental work, its main, innermost message, was not merely presented, but distorted beyond recognition? What truly lies hidden behind the descriptions of cosmic cycles and the evolution of races? Something far more fundamental, something that pierces the very core of your reality, your very self. There are claims suggesting that the Secret Doctrine serves as a kind of map for humanity's 7 root races. Yet this speaks not of biological evolution, as it is typically presented in academic circles. We are discussing spiritual races, stages of consciousness awakening, vertical levels of existence that separate ignorance from enlightenment. The truth that they deliberately conceal behind a colorful screen of endless news is astonishingly simple and simultaneously dreadful. This is not merely a conspiracy theory. It is a conspiracy against your consciousness. Consider, for instance, the so-called evidence, purportedly discovered in a lost quatrain from century 11, verse 93. This fragment, according to certain studies, hints at earthly roots stretching back into the deep past, to epochs when humanity was not yet as we know it today. Such echoes can also be found in ancient oral traditions passed down through generations. Let us recall, for instance, the tales of Kenshin, the hermit monk, whose scrolls were reputedly discovered in the ashes of a long-vanished monastery on the slopes of Mount Kurama. These texts, often carefully concealed from prying eyes, speak of former people, of states of consciousness that now seem unimaginable to us, belonging to the realm of pure fantasy. And these are far from isolated instances. If we closely examine the leaks from the Chimera Protocol, or the declassified reports of the Roman Club, which, despite their extreme secrecy, periodically seep into the public domain, we can discern clear patterns. These documents, often written in dry, deliberately bureaucratic language, indirectly hint at the existence of certain states of humanity that are radically different from our present condition. They speak of cyclicality, of the possibility of a rollback, and of the urgent necessity of managing these cycles. But a truly captivating convergence emerges when we discover how the prophecies of Vanga, the precise calculations of the ancient Maya, and the mysterious revelations of the Gnostics, despite their absolutely diverse forms of expression, speak of the very same thing. Vanga, with her characteristic insight, foretold great changes, the birth of a new person, and times when people would live in peace, yet there would be no peace. The Maya, using their incredibly complex calendars, predicted the completion of one grand cycle and the beginning of another, an era that was meant to be fundamentally different from everything that came before it. The Gnostics, operating with concepts such as archons and demiurge, directly spoke of our world as a kind of prison, created by lesser beings to hold the divine light captive. Each of them, in their own way, described not so much geographical shifts as mental and spiritual transformations, a true evolution of consciousness. And it is precisely here that an astonishing connection emerges with modern science, which, perhaps without even realizing it, indirectly reinforces these ancient yet profoundly relevant truths. We speak of fractal patterns in geopolitical events, of quantum probability collapse, of the influence of solar cycles on the noosphere. All these terms, seemingly plucked from their context, might sound like meaningless jargon. However, as soon as we begin to view them through the lens of spiritual evolution, they acquire profound meaning. Fractal patterns are, in essence, the manifestation of a single, all-encompassing law that operates on every level of our reality. Quantum probability collapse is that very turning point of choice, the moment when our consciousness actively shapes and defines the reality in which we exist. And the influence of solar cycles on the noosphere is vivid proof that we are by no means isolated. We are an integral part of a single, breathing, living organism. Recall that inexplicable anxiety that sometimes grips you at 3 o'clock in the morning, when the whole world seems to hold its breath, and the shadows around feel far more real than daylight. Or that acute sense of alienation when you gaze at the faces of passers-by on the street and suddenly realize you feel utterly alien here. These are not symptoms of depression. This is your soul, your true self, gasping for breath within this artificial alien matrix. It is an echo of that deep memory residing in every cell of your being, a memory of times when the connection to your true self was unbreakable, pure, and unwavering. And now we approach the very heart of this ancient mystery, to that pivotal moment when truth becomes so tangible and clear that it can shatter everything you have unreservedly believed until now. They, those who hold the reins of control, constantly tell us about wars, about coming crises, about global pandemics, about an endless, exhausting string of catastrophes designed to keep us in a state of perpetual fear. They erect high walls of this fear around us, relentlessly filling our minds with alarming images of enemies, both quite real and carefully constructed in our imagination. They strive for us to believe that our entire lives are merely an endless, grueling struggle for survival in a world teeming with dangers. But what if all these frightening monsters, be they wars, crises, or pandemics, turn out to be merely shadows cast upon the walls of our own cave? What if the true, most significant tyrant is looking intently at you directly from your own mirror? And remember, this is not just a beautiful metaphor. This is the long-awaited revelation. They are not some unknown external force. They are those hidden, suppressed aspects of your own consciousness that you feared to accept, allowing fear to consume you. It is your own doubts, your own passivity, your deeply ingrained belief in your own weakness. These are your true jailers. The universe does not punish humanity. Rather, it burns away the poison it has cultivated within itself, the poison of fear, ignorance, and meaningless materialism. This is not retribution, but rather a subtle cosmic surgery, a necessary cleansing for healing. And it is in this seemingly destructive moment, when familiar external structures crumble, when your fragile glass crown, your self-image, shatters, that true transformation occurs. You begin to see that the system's metallic veins, its soulless, cold logic, are merely an echo of your own inner coldness, which was once imposed upon you and then, regrettably, accepted as an integral part of you. And now, the most important part, the main secret, which they tried so diligently to conceal, substituting it with false messiahs and externally imposed saviors. Prophecies are not merely a warning about a coming savior. No, they are more of an activation code, embedded within each of us, the viewers, intended to awaken the sleeping hero. The prophets did not see a solitary figure, a single light in the darkness. They saw an endless army of awakened souls, legions ready to take responsibility. They saw precisely you. You are not just a passive participant in the coming events, not merely a part of a prophecy being fulfilled. You are its living embodiment, its final realization. The The 7 root races, as described by the great Blavatsky, are not a succession of different human species replacing each other at the dawn of time. They are rather 7 stages of spiritual development, 7 successive states of consciousness through which each I passes in its grand ascent. The first race is pure, unformed consciousness, poised on the brink of utter oblivion, akin to a silent, unmoving ocean. Then comes an era when a race begins to awaken, becoming aware of itself, yet still existing in a spiritual, ethereal form. The third stage is the genesis of the physical body, though the spiritual center is preserved. The fourth race, our current one, marks a profound immersion into matter, a loss of connection with the spiritual essence, the beginning of separation into self and other. And beyond, in the future, 3 more races await. Stages of ever-deepening spiritual awakening, phases of unity, love, and complete realization of one's divine nature. This truth is so potent that it must be concealed. True knowledge of the 7 races is the understanding of your own potential, your true divinity. It is the realization that you are not a victim of circumstances, but the creator of your own reality. And they fear this, for it signifies the end of their dominion, the end of their reign. Now that your eyes are open, you cannot stand aside. Your like is a brilliant flash of light, seen across the entire network, a signal to other seekers. Your share is like a precious seed cast into the fertile soil of dormant minds, a silent invitation to awaken and become aware. And your subscription is a sacred vow, a quiet affirmation of your readiness to go further, delving deeper into mysteries. If you feel ready for even more, our inner circle will become your secure operational base, a place where knowledge truly gains power. Your support, through a super thanks, is living energy, a pulsing stream that fuels our shared flame in the relentless battle against the ever-encroaching darkness. Remember, this is not merely money. It is fuel for liberation, a spark igniting light where shadows reign. Until our next meeting, remain deeply aware, stay connected with us, and never, for a single moment, stop asking